What's up, gangsters? And I'd like to welcome you to this new segment, if you will. Let's talk movies. It's basically just an updated version of my collection update videos, but I want to do it more in the same vein as those best movies I've watched in so-and-so videos. Which means that the movies in these videos, I want to approach them more as like random recommendations, with the focus more so on the movies themselves, and not so much the releases that they come in. I mean, it'll still be a little bit about the releases if it's something worth mentioning, but sounds cool? That's what I thought. So, this first video, it's all Arrow video releases. It's probably my favorite distribution company. I mean, they put out such fantastic releases for pretty awesome movies. So, let's go. Let's start with Phenomena. Now, I don't talk a lot about Dario Argento here on my channel, but I do enjoy his movies, especially the one from the late 70s and 80s, which also includes Phenomena. It stars a young Jennifer Connelly who has psychic powers that let her communicate with insects, which comes in handy when there's a serial killer on the loose. This release is awesome. It has both the Italian and international cut of the movie, as well as the much shorter American cut released as Creepers, plus the soundtrack on CD and a nice thick booklet. Great stuff. One of my favorite horror comedies, it's Re-Animator. You guys probably know this one. I love it. I've talked about it several times here on my channel, most recently in this favorite movies video. So check out that video if you want to know more about my thoughts on this movie. Spoiler, I like it. This release, again, is awesome. You have both the widely known unrated cut, as well as the longer, most complete, if you will, integral cut. Then you have the booklet and stuff, of course, it's cool. But they also included a complete reprint of the 1991 comic book adaptation, which is pretty damn cool. And here, yet another fantastic 80s horror movie. It's John Carpenter's The Thing. This one's an absolute classic. I talk about it a little more in depth in this Scariest Movies Ever video, so you can always check out that one. It's just such a great suspenseful horror movie with amazing special effects as its show stealer. This release comes with a poster, lobby cards, and a thick booklet, and a bunch of special features, including this brand new documentary about the history of The Thing. And not just the John Carpenter movie, but also the one from the 50s and the story it is all based on. Nice. Italian filmmaker Lucio Fulci is best known for his horror movies, but he also directed some giallos, and this is arguably his best known, Don't Torture a Duckling. Unlike many giallos of its time, this one is set in a small, remote village, as opposed to the big city, that's being hit by a wave of murdered young kids. And then, in typical giallo fashion, some non-professionals try to solve the case. It's pretty great. It's quite dark and grim. Great release. I really love this newly commissioned artwork. Looks good. What a classic blood feast. The first video I ever uploaded on this channel, almost 10 years ago, was about this movie. It's widely considered to be the first gore or splatter movie ever made. It's not good. In fact, it's pretty bad, but that does add to the charm. I kind of love this movie. Arrow also released this amazing huge box set containing most of the director's work, which I'd love to own as well, but it was simply just too expensive. And personally, I didn't think that most of his movies were worth the price. Since he's not per se a good filmmaker. There's a more basic release as well that's a little cheaper, but I don't know. Oh Hi Mark of the Devil. This is a pretty great one as well. A German production with Udo Kier in one of his earlier roles about a corrupt witch hunter, and well, that cannot end well, now can it? I mean, it is mostly remembered for being quite a graphic and vile movie, but it's actually not bad, I'd say. I quite enjoyed this one. It ended up on the Section 3 Video Nasties list, which I'm working my way through right now on my channel, so eventually I'll go a little more in depth into this one. And here we have one of the official Video Nasties, Island of Death. Probably one of the more infamous titles on that list. I've talked about it while covering the Video Nasties on my channel, so you can always check out that video, to learn a little more. It's such a guilty pleasure. It's so twisted and politically incorrect. It's fun stuff for the not for the whole family. Don't. As some of you might know, I have a weak spot for 80s slasher flicks, and while The Mutilator from '84 might not be the most memorable in the genre, it is a pretty interesting contribution. Mostly because, well, it's directed by one-time filmmaker Buddy Cooper, and he actually managed to make a pretty fun slasher flick with some cool, inventive gore, albeit a little dull overall, the movie. Also, gotta love Arrow for producing a quite interesting feature-length making-of documentary for such an obscure title. I mean, that's dedication. Now, if you want some good 80s horror fun, you can't really go wrong with Demons. Co-written and produced by Dario Argento and directed by Lamberto Bava, son of the great Italian horror filmmaker Mario Bava, this movie is, it's really just a lot of fun. It doesn't make a whole lot of sense, and it might not be that good, in a traditional filmmaking sense, but all of that is not really important when you have a whole movie filled with heavy metal, demons, and gore. It's kind of a must-see if you're into 80s horror, I'd say. From the director that brought us Motherfucking Pieces, here we have probably his other best-known movie, Slugs. And while it's hard to beat Pieces, this one is actually a lot of fun too. At least I haven't seen it in a while, but that's definitely how I remember it. But now that I got the Blu-ray, I have no excuse to not check it out again anytime soon. And yeah, it's about killer slugs. But I guess you figured it out yourself already. From Brian Yuzna, is that how you pronounce it? Who produced the Re-Animator movies among others and directed Return of the Living Dead 3 among others, comes this weirdly unique body horror movie, Society. It's about this outcast teenager who finds out that the wealthy community he's been living in might not be what it seems. It's quite fun, and especially the movie's climax it's something you'd have to see for yourself. Crazy. Like Slugs, I haven't seen this one in a while, so I'm just happy to own this on Blu-ray now. Beyond the Valley of the Dolls. From filmmaker Russ Meyer, for me personally best known for Faster Pussycat Kill Kill, but this here might just be his most famous movie. It's a weird satire on the whole Hollywood lifestyle, which took me a little while to get into, but eventually it's pretty fun. Mostly because it was written by people who had absolutely no idea about the actual Hollywood lifestyle. Low-budget filmmaker Russ Meyer himself, and believe it or not, renowned film critic Roger Ebert. But yeah, it's fun. It's okay. Then let's check out some Japanese movies. First, Retaliation, which I haven't seen yet. I bought it mostly just because it features one of the earliest acting roles from Miko Kaji, and also because I've seen some other cool stuff from the director. But yeah, I still have to see this one. And this one, Blind Woman's Curse, I got mostly because it was the first movie in which Miko Kaji had a leading role. Initially I wasn't too impressed, but it definitely grew on me over time. It's in a way a Yakuza revenge story, but mixed with some supernatural elements, which results in a bit of a surreal viewing experience. But it's worth checking out if you're into 70s Japanese movies, I guess. Finally, from Japan, a little more recent, here we have Pulse from 2001. I haven't seen it in a good while, but I do remember it being a quite effective horror movie that deals with the estrangement and isolation of society caused by the rise of, the internet and social media and stuff. But then more clever and less obvious than how I just made that sound. I remember thinking that it runs a little too long at 2 hours, but I should just rewatch it one day. Next up, 3 movies from exploitation filmmaker Jack Hill, with first Spider Baby, or The Baddest Story Ever Told. Shot in '64 but not released until 3 years later, Spider Baby stars an old Lon Chaney Jr. and a young Sid Haig, and tells the story of 3 siblings suffering from a rare disease, causing them to slowly turn, well, kinda mad. It's such a fun movie. Not sure what else to add to that. I mean, just give it a watch yourself. I really like this one. And then, from Jack Hill, Coffee and Foxy Brown. Two blaxploitation classics starring Pam Grier, both of which I haven't seen yet. I'm no blaxploitation expert by any means, but both of these have been on my watch list for so long that I figured, you know, I'll just get them and I'll give them a watch eventually. Any fans of these movies out here? These next two I accidentally ordered on DVD instead of Blu-ray, but what the hell? It's Takeshi Miike's Dead or Alive trilogy and Black Society trilogy. They're mostly all pretty great or fun movies. The first in both trilogies I've covered in the first part of my The Films of Takeshi Miike series. Maybe I should just pick up that series again one day. So even though I owned both trilogies already on DVD, these new transfers from Arrow are heaps better than these old releases. So yeah, pretty cool. Even though I should have just paid more attention while ordering. Oh well. And finally, on DVD, the infamous French rape and revenge movie Baise-moi, which literally translates to fuck me. This one had been on my watch list since forever, but I just never seen it until my girlfriend found this copy at a used games a music store for really like €1 or €1.50. And yes, there's explicit sex and graphic violence, but the overall movie kinda sucks. I actually barely remember what it's about, and it's not that long ago that we've watched it. Oh well, that can never be a good sign. Well, that's all for today. As some of you that follow me on Facebook might know, that's on facebook.com/horriblereviews. I actually bought a lot of new movies and like DVDs and Blu-rays since the last time I made a collection update video. So there's actually 3 more of this type of videos coming out pretty soon. I really hope you guys kinda, at least like a little bit, like this format, because I kind of do, you know. It gives me an opportunity to talk about, you know, just talk about a variety of different type of movies. I mean, that's why I called it Let's Talk Movies. Anyway, let me know, and see you guys soon. Cheers.